Now, he's got some awfully good training that he can take down to Washington and bring those folks around. And death tax is one of them. Another thing is I hope, and you and I have talked about this, farmers need to sell their grain. The stuff you were combining yesterday, the soybeans and Roger's gone, he'll be on the combine. I'm too old to be on the combine anymore. They got way past me. But you've got to sell half of what you produce overseas. And the way you sell it is with trade agreements. And for some strange reason, while the corn growers and bean growers and every farm group backs these trade agreements, our whole delegation votes no. AFL-CIO says vote no. Well, that's a quick way to get door to their members because they blame. It's like too many people in politics will go extra fingers at each hand, so if you point at somebody else and blame them for the trouble. But I think we've got too much of this going around saying these trade agreements are bad. They're extremely important. Believe me, if we didn't have the ability to trade with people around the world, our farm prices would be much less than they were, and we wouldn't have near the, shall we say, the example set a world that we can produce the food that they can eat to save themselves from starvation. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for today. I'm here today to talk about the death tax and why it needs to be abolished, and to introduce to you now the individual that I've gotten to know quite well, our friend, Brother Patton, Dick Patton, who actually is a farm boy, sort of from North Dakota. His grandfather was born on their family homestead in the Bowl. And when Dick came into town, he spent Sunday out there around the Bowl, scratching around trying to look at where his grandfather was born and grew up. So this is really, Roger, kind of almost to me that some of you left too soon. We hung out and after that. They're good to have you here.
Thank you so much. My name is Dick Patton. I'm president of the American Family Business Institute. And while I do work out in Washington, D.C., as Senator Andrews said, I've got deep roots that are just 20 miles from right here. This is where my grandfather was born. Today is a historic day. Welcome to day number 278 of No Death Taxes. On January 1st, for the first time in 94 years, the death tax went to zero. That, of course, is the good news, but the bad news is that in 87 days, the death tax goes from zero, the lowest rate on the planet, to 55%, the highest death tax on the planet. Let me ask a question. Whose idea was it? Way back in the yonder years of Congress, maybe Senator Andrews was even there back then, but whose great idea was it? Who was sitting around a table saying, I know, when mom and dad died, let's take half their stuff. In fact, let's take more than half their stuff through the death tax. Who thought that that was a constructive thing for America? The philosophical basis for this entire issue of the death tax is an issue of property rights. And it really comes, you can boil the entire issue down to one question that I would like to put before you. Do we actually have property rights? Or are we merely tax-paying serfs that after a lifetime of hard work and paying all of our taxes, somehow when this stops beating, our property reverts to the government as if somehow they owned it to begin with? And is that right? And is that American? And of course it's not, and neither is it constructive. The death tax is not just a tax issue, it is not just a government revenue issue, it is a family issue. The death tax affects and breaks that link between parents, their children, and their grandchildren, and that's incredibly meaningful as well. Here in North Dakota, 65% of all the jobs of North Dakota's economy come from North Dakota's family farms and family businesses. Family farms and family businesses are incredibly meaningful to this economy, and it is family farms and family businesses that the death tax specifically attacks. Dr. Douglas Holtz-Eakin, who's the former director of the Congressional Budget Office, said that if we got rid of the death tax permanently so that families could plan around it, it would add 1.5 million jobs to the American economy. And yes, you heard me right, 1.5 million